Hello everybody, my name is Jeff, and this is the Zombieland Saga Episode 5 review. With me, as always, is Torie. Say hello, Torie.
Hello, Jeff. How's it going?
It's good. There's someone missing here, but I don't quite know who it is. Do you?
I think it's a Jacoby? Jacoby?
A Jacoby, aka Kobe?
Uh-huh.
Yes, his presence is missed, but he will not be joining us today. So it's just you and me.
I know, this is like a first time you and me together.
I know, we can just let our hair down, talk shit about Kobe behind his back.
Have you been waiting for this moment for a long time?
Yeah.
Alright, let it all out.
Kobe, your taste in waifus sucks.
Oh, he's gonna listen to that and be very upset.
I hope so.
Okay, let me try. Kobe, I'm sad you're missed and gone.
She's actually not sad.
I know.
She's wearing a party hat, and she has one of those, what, the noisemakers?
Like
those party favors? Yeah. Not a vuvuzela, even though you went voo 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 voo.
No, I went ooh, like ooh.
Okay. One of those things. You know what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And confetti. She has a bag of confetti.
I do.
Anyways.
But it's not for your departure. It just so happens to be on the same occasion.
So we are on episode 5, and are you ready to discuss it, just you and me?
I guess so. I'm ready.
Alright, so Zombieland Saga episode 5 begins, as always, in the dungeon with Kotaro basically berating the rest of the group and then cheering them on at the same time. It's kind of a weird relationship that they have with this weird, strange dude.
And I know I always say this. I just don't get him. And I know your excuse is that he's crazy and we can't take any of his motives and his situation seriously, but I don't know. It's just, I don't get him. Why has he got to berate them and then he's got to congratulate them and then lift them up but tear them down? It's just a wacky roller coaster.
Yeah, he's crazy, but also he's the comic relief. I mean,
that's true.
You could say that every character kind of fills that role. That every character can potentially be a punching bag / comic relief, but he's especially that. That's consistently his character.
So do you think that all of his motives and everything he talks about, not from like Kotaro himself, but from the writers and the directors of the show, that he is purely there for comic relief only?
I think he's there as a mixture of comic relief, but also to be, I guess, a sort of a rock for these girls, because there are times when he gets serious and he kind of tells them to step up their game or, you know, take the chance that's given in front of you, that kind of thing. There was that little speech a few episodes ago where he did that.
I mean, a rock is a little too much credit to give him, I think. More like a pebble.
But what keeps the group together?
His forceful needs and them locking him or keeping him locked in the dungeon.
Exactly. So he's, in a way, the rock to the group, I would say. Anyways, the next job that Kotaro gives them is a commercial job. And they're doing it for a place called Drive Torie. Your name is Torie. What do you think of that name?
I don't really like it. I don't really like things that always use my name because my name's very popular. So when things share my name, then I don't really like it. Like Yakitori, not a big fan. Just because
Have you ever had yakitori?
Pretty sure I have. And
you don't like it?
No, I purely don't like it because it's called yakitori. If it was called yakatoi, I might like it. It's pretty good. No. I don't like things called Torie. And they kept
Including
just saying,
yourself.
Yeah, it's like drive Torie, drive in Torie, and I'm like, what? What do they want?
They want you to drive, damn it.
God.
So
just leave me alone.
Drive Torie is essentially a chicken place. And Saki, who is the leader of the biker gang and a leader of Franchouchou, is really excited. It's a place that she used to go to with her biker gangs after tearing up the streets, as she says.
With her Tamagotchi.
Yeah, with her Tamagotchi and the rest of her biker gang, which they're all high school girls.
Yeah, I was about to mention that. How can they be driving motorcycles and stuff when they're in high school?
I don't know. I don't know what the legal driving age of a motorcycle is in Japan.
That's a good point.
Fuck, I don't know. I don't know anything about Japan. I don't even know where Saga is. Is that a real place? Am I gonna be willfully ignorant the rest of the show? I don't know. But all I know is it's apparently a small town kind of deal. Because everyone's all like, oh, Saga, we gotta revitalize it and whatnot. Only Kotaro. But.
That pushes a question toward me, because Saki remembers this place and she says everyone's a Saga fail for not remembering this or not being aware of
yeah.
it. So does that mean, or do you think this means that everyone in this band or this idol group are from Saga in one way or another?
I think so, yeah. That seems to be the case.
Then
The only one that doesn't remember the place wasn't it Sakura?
Yeah.
But that's because she doesn't remember anything. And the other girl who says she remembered it was Junko. And she says she remembers it but has never been there.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm
maybe
assuming
it was someone else.
Yuguri, the girl from like the Shogunate era,
Yeah.
she probably wouldn't remember Saga because I doubt it was called Saga back in her day, but it could still be the same region.
She was around, somewhere around Saga. Anyways, yeah, so their job is to do a commercial basically for this chicken place. They go to the drive Torie and they have a sweet little meal together. And Kotaro is listening like a good little boy to the president's speech about their 7 core principles and whatnot. And he really is only crazy and bipolar to his girls. But other than that, he seems very professional. He seems very willing to listen out and hear out the people that he's talking to. He's able to have like a normal conversation with them.
Do you think that makes him a psychopath?
The fact that he acts like a different person to different people?
He can, what's the word, trick people or...
Manipulate them?
Yeah, manipulate them.
Well, he does that thing where he puts his hand under their chin.
Yeah.
And then
because he starts
seduces
yelling.
them.
He starts yelling at the girls, and the guy's like, "Oh, that's okay. I like them enjoying my chicken." And he just like grabs up his weird face and
he starts blushing.
yeah, and then that's it.
Yeah, so he's got away with people. He knows his way. He knows what he's doing, I think. But is he a psychopath? I don't know.
I think so.
Okay.
I think
fair.
he's a. Can you be bipolar and a psychopath?
I don't know. I didn't take a dang psychology degree.
I took AP psychology like 10 years ago. But
Yeah, you and everyone else.
I know.
So what's the answer then?
I think the answer is that the chicken that they're eating looked hella good. That make you hungry?
Anime food.
Yeah,
No.
cooking the chicken, and I mean, I'm not
Chicken's
a big fan.
boring.
I'm not a big fan of chicken, but it looked delicious.
They're grilling it and stuff. And you
I
know,
know.
whenever you go to a Korean barbecue place and they have you grill your own meat, chicken is like the worst thing you can get.
I know, but when you draw it on TV, it looks so much better.
You know, even on TV, it looks like shit.
I don't know.
Just looks like little balls of poop.
I don't know. I kind of wanted to try this.
We had
chicken.
dinner just before this. You're still trying.
Yeah.
You're still in the mood for foodsies?
Yeah, maybe because we were supposed to have chicken today, so
Oh, okay.
maybe I'm just in the mood of chicken. But when they were cooking it and they were eating it and they were popping it in their mouths, it looked really good.
I've seen better anime food. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
So essentially, after this, they do their little commercial where they dress up as chickens, and then their mascot comes out to do the show with them. And I swear to God, I think he's an actual chicken humanoid hybrid.
Well, I did think that because he looked very much so like a chicken and not so much as a human. But then you could see his butt later on when Tay. Well, I'm jumping ahead, but Tay pulls down his pants and you could see his underwear.
So
He's in a costume.
He can have human legs.
He can. The lower half of his body is purely man.
All I'm saying is we never. Okay, so there's not much else to say in this scene other than they eventually nail the commercial. Tai Yamada's a little bit unruly in the beginning. She keeps groaning and moaning like she usually does, but eventually they get it down pat. And yeah, like you said, Tai Yamada eventually bites him in the ass.
Thinking that he's a real chicken.
Yeah, because she loves chicken. Everyone there loves chicken. But we've never seen this guy. Did he actually say anything when he was there?
The chicken?
Yeah, the chicken guy.
No,
I don't think he ever had any lines.
just kept doing poses and
Yeah,
dancing.
he kept dancing around and shit. But like, also, okay, when you have like a costume, you usually expect like the face to not have any animation or anything like that because it's just a costume, right? You'd just be like a static image essentially. Or it would be kind of like the chicken suits that the girls were wearing, which they were basically wearing like onesies, chicken onesies. But this guy, his eyes were moving around. I think he was making expressions with his beak. Like, that was his face. That's the chicken face.
What got me the most is his neck. His neck was like hella skinny.
Yeah, so how would you get... And he was tall, too.
Yeah, he was
So if that
tall.
was his face, like his eyes that were moving around were actually human eyeballs poking through a mask, that means that his neck is like terribly misformed.
I mean, I'm not gonna say that in a TV or an anime where there's a such thing as zombie girls trying to be idols, that they're also chicken-human hybrids. But there are ways that they can make costumes more animated, especially when they want to do it for a commercial. They can they have clicks or buttons on their hands that they can.
Yeah, I know. They're like animatronic costumes. Or whatever.
And I mean, it just maybe looks so fluid because he's been a mascot for a while and he's had time to practice. They like to devote their whole budget towards chicken costume, but I don't think he was a chicken hybrid.
I think I'm gonna go with chicken hybrid on this one.
All right, we'll have to agree to disagree. I can agree with you at some point. That neck thing really got me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, then how do you explain that then?
My guess is maybe his head wasn't in there, in the top. It was in the bottom. That's why he was really tall.
But then why did he have to make expressions when he didn't need to? Because when he first arrived on the scene, he saw Tai Yamada, and it wasn't showtime yet. He was still moving the face as if he was scared and shit. You're telling me he did that even though he didn't need to?
Have you ever been to Disneyland?
Yes, of course I have. Why do you have to ask that dumb question?
Disneyland.
That's where we got engaged, dang it.
Disneyland characters, when they're in their costumes, they like to do wacky things and animate themselves as much as they physically can. So if he has the capabilities...
This ain't Disneyland. This is a fucking chicken drive-thru joint.
Yeah, and, it's like Ronald McDonald. They want to beef up their mascot as much as they can. Okay?
Whatever. Chicken-human hybrid. That's the answer.
Well, I guess then would you say that Tay was accurate in thinking that he was...
Yeah, because... I mean, well, she doesn't have a thirst for humans. She doesn't lunge towards human beings or anything like that.
Yeah.
And I don't think she ever did. She always went for food of some kind. So in that first episode where she dive bombs the audience, was she going for someone or was she going for someone's food?
No, I think she was going for someone.
She was actually attacking someone? Okay, never mind then. Because the second time she did it, she was going for the shrimp chips.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, she always goes for foods, but no, she actually goes for humans sometimes. Okay, well, I think she was going for the food. So chicken human hybrid. I'm sticking with it.
Okay, I'll give you that. Fine. Chicken human hybrid for the commercial for drive-in Tories.
Right. So yeah, that's basically it for that half of the episode.
I will say that they did they did the commercial with a nice, cute little song, the same song they were singing when they advertised for that same place at the beginning, but they didn't do the 3D animation for them.
Of which I am glad.
Yeah, so maybe they're only going to do it for that one...
When they're actually doing their idols thing.
Yeah, that was just one awful song.
That was just a paid gig.
Yeah, but yeah, I thought that was nice. I thought it was totally going to be 3D up to wazoo.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, essentially this whole episode is split into two sections. There's the chicken adventure, and then there's the Gata Olympics venture, which is the next section of the episode. They're essentially supposed to they're supposed to participate in the Gata Olympics. And I don't know what the hell that means, but essentially you as a team do a bunch of activities to compete with each other, but they're doing it more to promote their girl band, essentially. And again, Saki is the only one that's ever heard of it, and she's really thrilled to do it. She's really hyped up. And away they go. They are wearing their new Franchouchou t-shirts.
Ugly.
Which are very basic looking. I think there's a rainbow in there somewhere.
It's rainbows and dots all over it.
Mm-hmm.
And a weird pattern that outlines their boob or something. I don't know. It's weird.
So yeah, they arrive there and they participate in, I believe, 2 activities?
At least for what we see.
Yeah. It's all mud-based, it seems.
It's kind of like Tough Mudder. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, but Tough Mudder is an actual obstacle course.
I know, it's much tougher.
It's much mudder.
Mm-hmm.
But there's 2 activities that we see. The first activity is they have to ride a bicycle on a thin vertical strip of wood, essentially. And on either side of them, they have to basically balance themselves or else they fall in the mud. And to demonstrate the activity, we have the cop that's been shooting at them this whole season.
Their only cop in Saga.
Apparently. He represents, the whole police department. He's the one trying to save the town from zombies, and he's the one representing them out in the Gata Olympics. And, of course, he falls flat on his face. And as we see, as Franchouchou compete, they all pretty much fuck it up.
They eat shit.
They all eat shit. They all eat mud. Except for Kotaro, who goes through it with ease. And after he does it after everyone has competed, and everyone is really expecting him to like fall flat on his face and die in the mud essentially, because they all just started eating shit.
And they also expected him to talk about their freaking idol group because that's what they're
that's
here
the whole
for.
point, yeah.
And he was just like, no, I'm good.
Yeah. So the girl who is basically presenting everyone says, "Hey, tell us about yourself. Tell us what you think." And they're like, "Oh yeah, talk about our group." And he's just like, "Hi, yes, I'm ready to do this." Okay. So I thought that was funny.
That was pretty funny.
And in between that, after the girls participate and before Kotaro participates, the girls are all muddy and shit. And what do? They take a giant hose and hose each other down. And what do you know? All their makeup starts falling away, and they're zombies again. And we see, I think, another funny scene where they all huddle up immediately. And they're like, "Holy shit, what do we do next?" Mm-hmm. And then in the next shot, you see them like running around with like safety cones on their heads. Very reminiscent of Toy Story. Mm-hmm. And they all jump back into the mud to basically disguise themselves. So now they're all dirty, and no one can even see their t-shirts and stuff.
I know you and I had a discussion while we were watching this about how sometimes they can get wet and not be seen, and then other times they can get wet and then all their makeup comes off. It just seems to be a little inconsistent.
Well, yeah, because there's only one. Now that I think back about it, though, we've only seen them in the water like a few times. One of them, the first time was when they were bathing their feet, and then the second time was when their makeup was already off at the bathhouse. So I guess, yeah, you're right. It's like, if the water pressure is strong enough, of course it's going to wash away their makeup. But a little drizzle or a little like still water isn't going to wipe all of it away.
Maybe you have a hard time, or you had a hard time, you understand now, of understanding how water works on makeup. But for us girls who deal with it all the time, it's pretty simple to understand.
Yes, that's true. I don't wear makeup.
Well, you should give it a try every once in a while. You look good with some mascara.
I'll wear some mascara for you.
Thanks.
So...
Oh yeah, before we get to the next event, at the very beginning of this mud competition, there's two guys that keep a watchful eye on the group. And they actually see the commercial that they performed for the chicken place, the drive-in Torie. And they just seem to be interested in these girls. I don't know if we've seen them before.
One guy in particular.
Have we seen them before?
No, I think they've just been introduced.
Okay, because they mentioned like, oh, these guys really want an idol group. So I was like, maybe they're in the audience somewhere at one of their performances. Anyway, when they're at the mud competition, they keep watching them with binoculars. And like Jeff said, one guy in particular is very interested in one of the girls, kind of trying to remember how he's associated with this girl.
Yeah, and the girl in particular, which we find out at the end, is he seems to recognize Junko, who is the idol from the 80s. So this guy probably recognized her as an idol back then, and is like, "Who is this bitch? I think I've seen her before." And this guy looks kind of like he's in his 40s or something like that. So he could very well have been around. Oh wait, no, 40s. Am I getting my math right?
Probably 50s.
Yeah. Basically, he would remember if she was popular back in the day.
Which is fault to Kotaro that he didn't create makeup that would make them look different enough from their previous personas.
That's true.
Especially for people who would know people that are still alive in this era.
Yeah, like Sakura, for example. Well, on the calendar, what was the calendar? It was like 2008, right?
Yeah.
So that was only 10 years ago. I think people would totally remember her.
Yeah.
Who she was.
If she was that popular. We still don't really know her backstory. But yeah, if these girls are legends from their time, maybe you should have made them look a little different from past 20 to 30 years.
Yeah, Kotaro is not quite the genius mastermind that we think he is. Or is he?
I didn't think he was a super genius
but I think,
mastermind.
well, that Kobe thinks he is, I suppose.
Yeah,
Kobe
sucks.
Take that, Kobe. The next activity is a rope jump activity, which is they basically need to go the farthest and also have the most style while doing it.
Yeah, so they get points based off how far they go or how long the distance is, but they get extra bonus points if they have any flair or finesse when dropping down.
Styling. And essentially they all eat shit. Again. But there's a few people that do exceptionally well.
I like Yuguri when she goes up. She's doing like cool acrobatics on there, but she doesn't jump. She just lands back down.
Yeah. But she gets 5 points.
Yeah.
Which I assume is out of 10.
5 points across the board.
Yeah. So her style was really good. Her distance was off. The opposite end of the scale is Lily Hoshikawa. She's the youngest one, and she basically coils herself up and then like launches herself out, which is awesome. And then there's another little funny moment with Sakura where there's a still shot of her and she's thinking about doing it, and there's like wind flowing through her hair, and Saki yells out a word of encouragement, and you think that Sakura is going to be the one to do it, but she pretty much immediately, when she jumps off the podium, slips off the rope and does a belly flop. And who is the one that takes it home for the gold, though?
It's the one, the only, the legendary Tei Yamada.
Yeah, so she actually goes super far, but while she's far up in the air, her body parts all fly off in random directions. Her limbs fly off, her head flies off, which was hilarious. I mean, this is the kind of zombie body humor that I love about the show.
It's like she was going so fast because she was swinging herself back and forth, building up velocity. And by the end, the velocity was so intense that it just ripped her body to shreds. It was quite comical.
And of course, when that happened, like the way it happened earlier in the season when her head flew off, I immediately thought, holy shit, how are they going to get out of this one?
Yeah.
Which is what I love about the show. And of course, it's just some bullshit that happens. Like, everyone's like, she was so high in the sky, the sun got in the way, what happened? Yeah. And then you see the rest of the team like, oh shit, and they all sprint over to where Taimata is, and they quickly recombine her body parts to their appropriate locations. And the announcer's like, wow, look at her teammates, they're all rushing towards her, what teamwork! And Taimata ends up taking the gold.
So the girls were able to see Taimata jump. So I'm sure there's at least a couple people in the audience who were not blinded by the light that would be able to see what happened.
Maybe, or they're zombies, so they don't get blinded by the sunlight.
Oh, maybe. Or else I was thinking it's kind of like I don't know if it's what lore this is from, but when you don't think things are going to happen a certain way, like magical things or fantasy things that you don't believe in or you don't really think about, like it's hard for you to comprehend that. So
it doesn't register in your mind.
Yeah, there you go. So that if something were like that to happen, you wouldn't be seeing that. You would be seeing something different that your mind would comprehend.
Yeah, well, like the sun got in your eye, so that would be a good explanation too. Like you see a body flying to pieces, so but it's like, well, the sun was in my eye.
Like, whoa, that sun
could have been a light refraction or whatever.
Messed up my vision for a second.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, she wins the gold, and Sakura remembers that she has 2 shirts. She has the one outside, which is covered in mud, and the one inside, which she thinks is their Franchouchou t-shirt.
Yeah, because earlier, because they wore all their Franchouchou shirts, and that's hard to say. But Tay ripped hers as she put it on, so...
They gave her another one.
So theoretically, the ripped Franchouchou shirt should be still on her.
Mm-hmm. And so she rips the shirt on the outside apart, and it's not the Franchouchou shirt underneath, but it's Drive Torie. So they end up succeeding in promoting something. It's just not their actual girl band. It's just a chicken place that they promoted for, which I think is fine.
Yeah.
They got a paid gig there after all. And that's essentially it. I mean, it kind of leaves off on a cliffhanger with the guy with the binoculars being like, oh, I recognize this girl. I know who this is now. So it looks like we might be meeting some characters who actually know these girls in a past life. So that's kind of interesting. But I also thought this was a funny episode.
Yeah.
The last 2 weren't funny. This one definitely brought it back around. Even though there wasn't too much story bits, the one with the bit with the guy recognizing them was enough to entice me to continue watching to see where it goes. But ultimately, I watched this for the comedy, and it delivered.
Yeah, I more or less think of it as a comedy than a idol group.
An idol show.
Yeah, an idol show. So, are you back on board with Zombieland Saga, or do you think it's going to fall back?
Well, the next episode looks like it's going to be one of those serious episodes again. And so I'm kind of skeptical if it'll keep up this momentum of giving me the laughs. But, I mean, it's not that I'm not down for a serious episode. It's if it's a serious episode, then I got to give a shit about it. and maybe I will be surprised with the next episode. But right now, I'm back to neutral. What about you?
I think I'm optimistic again. Surprisingly, me optimistic. What the heck? But I don't know. I think the comedy is solid, and as long as I keep that up and focus less on the idol group, which is kind of, I thought every single episode from here on out was going to be about their idol group and doing those 3D cool dances or whatever. But the fact that they switched it up with this episode gives me hope that it's not all lost to their cause. And who knows, even though we don't really have an investment in any of the characters, I think the mystery itself, as long as they continue that much, we can either interlude their stories within it, or we can just be watching to kind of figure out, oh, are they going to figure out who they are? Oh, maybe they'll realize how they became zombies. I don't know, but all the cool zombie things is what keeps me going. And they're funny.
Yeah. Zombie humor.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I guess that's it. Is there anything else you want to add?
What was the preview for next episode?
It was sentimental something.
Oh, yeah, sentimental.
Didn't really give much info, actually.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to know. It's hard to gauge what it's about. That's why I think it's just going to be a serious one.
Well, it's sentimental. It seems like a sentimental
episode. It's going to be a sentimental episode, okay.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think that's it. How about you?
Nope, that's all. Hope you guys liked enjoying. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to this as much as we enjoyed talking about it. If you like this video, go ahead and like it and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one. And I hope you guys have a good day.
Yeah, and if you think we're wrong, just comment and mention how wrong we are. I know you guys like to do that a lot with us, so comment to us, talk to us, and subscribe.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
See ya.